the scheduled executions happen or not? We wanted to check in with our legal expert, Brian Galini. Brian is the Associate Dean for Faculty and Professor at the University of Arkansas Law School. So thank you so much for joining us, Dean Galini. The first question we have for you is, we have multiple lawsuits going on right now, and two of them involve drugs. Drug 1, and that's midazolam, and drug 2, that is vecuronium bromide. How is an Arkansas judge and a federal judge ruling on the drug number 2?
So when we think about both lawsuits, obviously we've got the state court that ruled drug 2 is restrained from use to go forward with the executions. Now, interestingly, as we now know, that lawyers for drug 2 have moved voluntarily to dismiss that lawsuit, in part or in whole because the Eastern District at the federal court level has intervened to enjoin the executions from moving forward. Now, the reason they would do that, I think, is twofold. Number one, at this moment, they feel as though their claim, their concern that their drug would be used in an execution is now satisfied. It can't be. But the second reason they might dismiss, so-called without prejudice, is to give them an opportunity to refile at a later date should it become possible that their drug is again mixed up in the prospect of an execution moving forward.
So there's another legal challenge involving drug number 1.
That's right.
So the governor had stated that he wants these executions to happen before the end of the month, before drug number 1 expires. If the drugs expire, what happens?
The short answer, of course, we don't have a crystal ball. The short answer is I don't know. I think there's good reason to believe that there is not a hard and fast plan B in place. There was testimony in front of the Eastern District that indicated it would be difficult to obtain an alternate or a substitute for the midazolam. So I think, you know, if we're to infer that there is a big rush to execute because of the expiration date, presumably that rush is also inspired by the absence of a viable alternative should the executions not move forward.
Okay. And now Bruce Ward was scheduled to be executed tomorrow, Monday, but a judge granted a stay. So what is the state now trying to do?
Well, the state has filed an emergency appeal before the 8th Circuit, arguing that the Arkansas execution protocol is in fact constitutional. And the 8th Circuit does have an emergency protocol in place, so we can imagine that a ruling on that would be forthcoming.
Okay. And the governor says that he is meeting with the Attorney General and the Department of Corrections tomorrow to determine the next steps. So is he still trying to move forward with the execution starting tomorrow at 7?
I really see a couple different scenarios. Either we can imagine the state continuing to move forward in this posture where they'll push for all executions as is, perhaps move forward with just one, or pull back entirely, regroup, and consider other options. Now, on options 1 and 2, the interesting thing is whether they go forward with all or choose just one, the legal issues would remain the same. In other words, the constitutionality of our state's execution protocol would still be at issue. So to my mind, I think it's either we see the state push forward with all executions, or we see it entirely pull back.
So just a few hours ago, inmates today are appealing a part of Judge Christine Baker's preliminary injunction after she denied their argument that there was too little time between the execution. So they're now saying that the schedule violates the standards of decency. So explain that for us. What are they trying to do? What's happening here?
So briefly, the inmates are, that's language indicating that an alternative claim that their 8th Amendment rights are violated, and the Eastern District denying that claim and them now appealing it preserves yet another challenge to the 8th Circuit, and the prospect of them winning, which is not entirely out of the question, the prospect of them winning would then provide an alternative ground to stay or to block the executions at a future date.
Okay, so there's just a lot going on, and you said there could be more.
That's right. I would expect no matter what that we could imagine the U.S. Supreme Court getting involved, whether that's tomorrow night or at some soon date thereafter. My guess is tomorrow night.
Okay. Dean Galini, thank you so much for having us from the University of Arkansas Law School.